Hello everyone, welcome. Happy Tuesday, or if you're somewhere else in the world, happy Wednesday. I was out of town for a couple of days and I'm back and I want to come on and do a Facebook Live. If you are brand new to this group and you're like, who is this person? I am Brianna. I am the founder of this group and I help teen girls and young women end depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, self-harm, suicidal thoughts so that they can step into their power and their confidence and really be the best versions of themselves. I mean, that's what we are all here to do. But most teen girls and young women don't know really how to get there and they get in their own way, So anyways, the topic of this Facebook Live is why the scariest place for your daughter to live in is in the space of I'm okay with not being okay. And here's what I want to say before I jump into this. I don't mean, because we've all heard the saying, like, I'm okay if I'm not okay. Yes, once in a while, like, that's okay. Like, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to feel our emotions. Okay? It's actually part of the human experience. Like, your daughter has to feel a range of emotions, right? So that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is when your daughter is okay with living in the sadness, like, all of the time. What I'm saying is it's not okay for your daughter to just be complacent and say to herself, well, life sucks and it's just not going to get any better. So it is what it is. Whatever, and a lot of girls are living in this space and this space is dangerous. And I want to get into this because, and I want to say this was actually the topic of this Facebook Live was inspired by, I was speaking to one of my graduates from my coaching program last night. And we were talking about how far she's come. I mean, she's doing incredible. I mean, she's been out of my program for months now. And she's, back at college and she's living her life and she's spreading the message of positivity and inspiring others, which is just so incredible because to think of where she was like before and where she is now, it's night and day. It's night and day. I mean, this was someone who was struggling with debilitating anxiety, debilitating depression, to the point that she was having panic attacks like every single week. I don't remember. I think she was having like 4 or 5 panic attacks every single week. Anyways, her mental health was at an all-time low, okay? And she came into my program and had a massive transformation. And months later, she's been out of my program for, I want to say 6 months, give or take, and she's still doing amazing. So anyways, we were talking on the phone last night because we're collaborating and we're doing something really cool. I'm not going to share what it is, but we were talking about where she was, before the program. And she said to me, Brianna, like, I was okay with not being okay, and she was like, and that was the scariest place to be. And that really hit home for me, and it really resonated because I know a lot of your daughters are living in that same space. And as much as you want your daughter to transform and to change her life, and whether it's getting into my program or doing something else to better herself and do the inner work so that she can grow and become, oh my gosh, I hate it when scammers call. It's like, not now, I'm doing a Facebook Live, okay? Okay, I'm back. Where was I? I think I was saying, how a lot of your daughters may be in this boat where, you're trying, you want to do everything you can for your daughter, but she doesn't want it. But she is saying, no, I'm fine. But you clearly can see that there is shit going on with your daughter and you know that she is not fine, right? So here's why this is a dangerous place, because if your daughter is not open to receiving help, it's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse as time goes on, because Noreen, it's your birthday today. Happy birthday. Everybody celebrate Noreen's birthday. Noreen had her daughter in my program, and her daughter had a massive transformation too. And Noreen, I love you. Noreen and I chat. She's like, we're buds. And it's her birthday today. So happy birthday, love you. Anyways, back to the Facebook Live. Here's why this space of your daughter not wanting the help and being okay with not being okay all the time is really dangerous. Hold on, there's one thing that I want to say before I jump into that, which is this. Something that happens, and I see this happen with a lot of girls and young women that come to me that have been struggling for years, because I hear them say this all the time. The ones that have been going from therapist to therapist, or maybe they're not hopping around, but maybe they've stayed with a therapist for a couple of years, or maybe they have done a lot of things. They've done the therapy, they've done inpatient, they've done outpatient, they've done the medication, they've done this, all the homeopath, like all the things, right? And they're not getting better. And they're not feeling better. And maybe over time, it's actually hasn't even gotten better, it's gotten worse. Okay? This is where it leads to a dangerous place as well for your daughter if she's there, because she is going to be resistant to maybe, I'm not saying for sure, but there's a higher likelihood that if you've been spinning your wheels for years trying to get your daughter the right thing, the right help, the right program, the whatever, and it's been years and nothing has been working, there's a higher likelihood that your daughter is going to be resistant to anything new. And here's why. Because she's tried so much already that she's got a guarded heart. Okay? We could call it like heart armor. It's this armor that she puts like over her heart to protect herself from getting hurt. Because every time you try something for your daughter tries something that does not work, it's almost like it does something to your daughter. It like chips away at her. And she, it's like, I did another Facebook Live a couple weeks ago. And I was talking about, this saying like, where we don't get excited about things because we don't want to get our hopes up, right? Your daughter, if she's been struggling for a while, may have repeatedly gotten her hopes up time after time after time, because every time she tries something, whether it's medication, whether it's a new therapist, whether it's a new counselor, whether it's a new program, outpatient, inpatient, expecting that to help her, expecting that to help her get better, to feel better, to heal, to get on the other side of depression and anxiety and suicidal thoughts and self-harm. And when those things are not working, your daughter comes to a space of feeling hopeless. It's like, I've tried all these things and nothing is working. And this makes your daughter not want to try anything new. And I've spoken to so many of these girls, and it breaks my heart because I have these calls with the parents, with the daughter. And the daughter is like, no, I don't think it's going to work for me. My program works, but it doesn't work for those girls who don't want to change, who don't want to get better. And so again, going back to when your daughter has been struggling for a long time and you're trying so many different things, one of the consequences of that is your daughter is at some point, she's just going to say, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to try. I'm over it. I'm okay being okay. I'm okay with not being okay all the time. So let's get into why this is a dangerous place for your daughter to live in. Remember, this is not I'm okay with not being okay once in a while. Not what I'm saying, okay? Because it is okay for your daughter to not be okay once in a while. That's fine. But what it's not okay is for your daughter to live in the place of I'm not okay, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, exactly. Lisa, sorry, I didn't see this. Can you share that older live? Which live did I refer to? Remind me, Lisa, which live I mentioned. And you can just scroll down, like the lives are all here. Oh, yes, okay. The live was like a couple weeks ago, so if you scroll down, you'll be able to find it. So here's why this becomes dangerous for a lot of your daughters when they've been struggling for a while and they get to a place of, I'm okay with not being okay. And they live in that state. They live in that space, okay? So that means that your daughter is not doing anything to help herself. Your daughter is not seeking out help. She's not seeking out guidance. She's in a state, it could be depression, it could be anxiety, it could be both, because anxiety and depression go hand in hand together. It could be, it could be self-harm, it could be suicidal thoughts, it could be eating disorder. It could be a lot of different things. It's usually not just one thing. Sometimes it is, but sometimes when that one thing is not healed, it spirals into like this and this and this. So it could start with like anxiety. And then when that isn't looked at and healed, it can spiral into depression, self-harm, suicidal thoughts, and that's where it's a scary place for your daughter to live. So going back to why this is a dangerous place is this. Because the longer your daughter goes without getting the help, the worse she gets. And there are way, 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 way too many girls and young women who are having to go to inpatient. Okay, having to go to the ER because they cut themselves too deep. They're having to go to the ER because they tried to kill themselves. This is happening way too frequently, okay? And a lot of these girls, maybe not all of them, but a lot of these girls have come to the place of, I'm okay with not being okay. And some of these girls, the ones who are suicidal, that are trying to take their lives, I don't want to be here anymore. My family would be better off if I wasn't here. I'm a waste of space. I wish I was making this stuff up, but I am not. And so when your daughter is living in that place, that's dangerous. And it's very scary. For you as a parent, it's a scary place because you want your daughter to get better, and you see your daughter, she's struggling through life. But she doesn't want the help. She's okay with not being okay all the time. So something needs to change. Because look, you can send your daughter to the ER, to the inpatient, to the outpatient, to all of these programs. And look, if it's helping, fantastic. But a lot of these places are being used as like a last resort, a last ditch effort here. What can be done before that? Do you have to wait to send your daughter to an inpatient or outpatient and send her away for 3 months or something like that before you get your daughter feeling better again? It doesn't have to be that hard. It really doesn't. But here's what's needed. What's needed is a different approach. Because I saw a post yesterday, somebody wrote something, and at the end it said, God, the mental health system is completely flawed. It's broken. I've been saying this for years. It is. If it was working, then more girls would be healing instead of getting worse and worse, right? It's a broken system. So you can keep doing all of the things in the broken system, expecting to get different results, but how long is that going to play out? How long do you need to do that before you wake up and say to yourself, you know what? This ain't working. It's not working for my daughter. And try something different. A lot of parents come to me when their daughter has gotten to that place of, we had to send her to the ER. We had to send her to the inpatient. She had to go to outpatient. Okay, now we're ready for your program, Brianna. Right? Because it's gotten so bad that finally some of these parents are like, well, we're not doing that anymore. That's clearly not working. She's been on all of the medications. I just spoke to a girl just yesterday who is enrolling in my program, and she's tried all the different medications. She's been struggling for so long. She tried to take her life. just within the last week. She's done the therapy. She's done the medication. She's done it all. Right? And so now this is, at least now she's open and ready for a new approach. This girl, she's open to it. She wants the help. She had to get to her rock bottom to get there. But here's what I want to say to all of you. Your daughter doesn't have to get to the rock bottom before she actually sees the light at the end of the tunnel. And you don't need to see your daughter get to rock bottom before you see the light at the end of the tunnel either. There is hope. There is this thing that we call, it's the inner work, right? It's this different approach where your daughter is connecting to mind, body, spirit, soul, whatever you want to call it, heart. When she combines all of this in a different approach, this is what gets your daughter lasting healing and transformation. My program is 12 weeks, but the transformation that your daughter could have in my program lasts a lifetime. And what's that worth? To you? To your daughter? To the rest of her life? Oftentimes, I know, because I hear this from a lot of parents, we're looking for something that's going to work, but we also want something that's like inexpensive. We want something that's cheap. We want something that's going to fix this, but we're not really willing to put in the investment. I've spent 10 years, over a decade of my life, doing personal growth work and transformational work and spiritual growth and all the things. And I've spent thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on my growth, on my education, on my learning, so that I can go teach this to other girls and young women. I have the master's degree in spiritual psychology. I pranced my way to Costa Rica to learn under Don Miguel Ruiz and his son. I've actually done a couple of retreats with them. I've done it all. And every time there was an investment that was tied to, connected to that, and I didn't think twice about it. Because what is becoming the best version of myself worth? That's like priceless. And for your daughter as well. And look, I'm not saying like, oh, who cares about the finances and whatever. It's all good. I get that finances are like a real thing. But it also comes back to your daughter and what is her life worth. And if she's been struggling, and if she's been struggling for years, investing in not just her right now, but for the rest of her life, that's something that's going to change the trajectory of her entire life. You know, that's worth it. And so oftentimes, I know a lot of parents are reaching out to me, you know, affordability and this and that, and every single parent has the ability to get resourceful and figure out a way. If your daughter is struggling and she's not getting better. Sometimes, again, we want to do it the cheap way. Insurance covers therapy, so stick to the therapy, stick with the therapy, stick with, you know, that stuff, medication. And look, if that stuff is working, that's fine, that's great. But I'm here talking to all the parents where it's not working. That stuff didn't work. It's not getting better. Because you're the ones that are seeing it front and center. You're the ones that are seeing your daughter feeling hopeless. You're the ones that are seeing your daughter like have no light on. It's almost like the light's been turned off. She's in her room depressed all the time, sleeping away her weekends, sleeping away her life, feeling anxious, feeling overwhelmed, living with suicidal thoughts, maybe even self-harming, cutting herself, cutting her arms, cutting her legs. It's out of control. It really is. I haven't been reading these. I'm sorry. I have not been reading your comments. Oopsie. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, Noreen, it's an investment like college. Absolutely. We don't think twice about paying thousands of dollars for college. It's just like what we do. We'll do whatever it takes. We'll get the loans, we'll get the scholarships, we'll borrow, we'll do whatever. And how many of us are willing to do that for your daughter's mental health? I'm telling you guys, your daughter's mental health is more important than college. Your daughter's mental health is more important than anything else that she's got going in her life. It's the truth. Okay, let me read the rest of your comments. Meaning it will help them forever. Yes, Noreen. It's a priceless investment. It is. It is. So I'm going to have to run because I do have a group coaching session in just a few minutes. But if you would like more information, I mean, please feel free. Watch my masterclass called Healing the New Medicine for Anxiety and Depression. I will leave that below. Not right now, though, because I have a group session, but I'll come back and leave it later. I forgot to say this. If you guys are watching the live or you're watching the replay, please let me know that you're here. Just write live if you're watching live or if you're watching the replay. Write replay. I love to know who's watching and who's a part of this. So, I mean, look, this topic is really important. And it's important because you don't want your daughter to get to a place where she's complacent and she's okay with being depressed all the time, and she's okay with feeling anxious all the time, and she's okay with living, with suicidal thoughts, and she's okay with cutting up her arms and her legs every single day. That is not an okay place to be. That's a dangerous place to be. And so if you've been watching this and you're picking up what I am saying, if you're resonating with the message of what I do, a completely different approach that can take your daughter from stuckness, depression, anxiety, all the things, and get her to living her best life in a matter of a few short months, if that is what you want, reach out to me, private message me, let me know what's going on. We can set up a call. It would be with you, if you have a partner or a spouse, and your daughter. Again, this goes back to your daughter has to want the help, though. I am not a miracle worker, and I can't get your daughter. If she doesn't want the help, don't book a call with me, because it's a waste of everyone's time. But if your daughter is open to receiving help, if she does want a new approach, reach out to me. With that, I'm going to let you guys all go. Thank you guys for watching. If you have questions, comments, leave them below, and I'll make sure to answer a little bit later. Bye, everyone. Mwah.